Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. I hope you're all doing really well today. I do have my air conditioner on because it is super hot here. So if there's a little bit of background noise, that's what that is. It's just my air conditioner. We're going to play with some stamps today. So we are going to make a mixed media card. You can see I have my glass media mat out and my non-stick craft mat. I have some Distress Oxide inks. This is Cracklin Campfire, and it's either Fossilized Amber or Wild Honey. I don't remember which one I chose. And I am going to use the stamp set from Wild Whisper. It is called Happy Tales. It is a pet. The rest of the stamps on the stamp set are more pet themed. We're just using this one stamp set. So I plopped down some Distress Oxide ink onto my glass craft mat. I used a mini mister to kind of get that ink flowing. I have a piece of scratch paper there, and I am using this one stamp set, and I am dipping it into the kind of watercolor I've created, and then I'm stamping it all around the edges of this paper. The paper that I am using is Vicky Bouton's Foundations paper. I am taking a very small bristled watercolor brush, and I'm moving some of the water and ink that the stamp left on my paper to create a background. So this is my background. I'm just using the stamp. I'm stamping on the background. I'm letting it be as messy or not messy as it wants to be, and then I'm coming in with my brush and kind of moving the color all around until I am happy with how it looks. And then I'm going to go ahead and take some gold ink spray and that same brush, and I'm going to splatter the gold all over. This gold spray that I'm using is not pigmented, so it's just gold. So when I splatter it down, the color from the Distress Oxide inks are going to come through, so it's not going to be any color. It is just going to give everything a wash of gold. In addition to splattering, I'm also going to go ahead and I'm just going to dunk the paper right into that gold mist, just around the edges. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set it off to dry, and I'm going to keep working on my card. So I have another piece of the Vicky Bouton Foundations paper here. I'm going to grab my favorite Brutus Monroe black ink. I'm going to take the exact same stamp, this floral stamp, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp it twice or 3 times. I think I stamped it 3 times, so I have 3 different clusters of flowers. And then I'm going to very loosely watercolor these flowers with some more Distress Oxide inks. I think for this one I used Forest, Moss, and Rustic Wilderness. And then I'm going to use the same 3 colors, Cracklin Campfire, Fossilized Amber, and Wild Honey to do the flowers. So while I go ahead and kind of color these up, we'll kind of take a step back. Here was my thought process for this card. I wanted to use something off theme, and I really love this Happy Tales stamp set because even though it is sort of pet themed, the florals on the stamp set are absolutely gorgeous. The other thing I wanted to do was to pull in some of those late summer, early fall, orangey yellows, warm colors. That was number 2. So my idea was that I would use one stamp set, my Distress Oxide inks, and some paper, and I was going to make a card, and I was going to put techniques and things into it that anyone could use. It's very easy to create a card like this. You don't have to be good at coloring at all. You don't have to be a perfect stamper, nothing like that. So I am just really loosely coloring these images up, and then I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut them. I am letting the ink and the water do all the work for me for this technique today. So if you are not a card maker, if you are a scrapbooker, you can absolutely 100% do this. So use a 12 by 12 sheet of paper, preferably if you have it, the Vicki Boutin's foundation paper, or if you have some 12 by 12 watercolor paper, that's good. You can easily do that stamp design where I stamped with the oxides all around the edges of a 12 by 12 layout, and then you would have this beautiful mixed media, easy background to get started, and then you could build your page on top of it, including you could do this with a couple of different images to coordinate with the colors you used around the border of your layout, and then you could go ahead and use those elements in your layout as embellishments. These two techniques just really easily using a good quality paper and distress oxides. That's it. Some water. I use Brutus Monroe black ink because it's waterproof once it dries, and it also works great for if you have alcohol markers or anything. I really like that Brutus Monroe ink, and you can really easily get gorgeous embellishments just using one stamp, and I love it. This is such an easy, anyone can do this type of technique. Once everything is dried and colored up, we're going to go ahead and put this card together. I want to add a little bit more to the background, so I'm going to go ahead and grab another stamp set. You would not need to grab another stamp set. 100% you could take what you have right now, put it together, and you would be done. I'm going to take the Script 6x6 stamp set from Nicole Wright. I'm inking it up using Vintage Photo Distress Oxides. I'm not even putting it in a MISTI. I'm not putting it anywhere. I'm just flopping it down on my background. And I'm restamping it a couple times just to create a little bit more texture, depth, interest, all those things. And you saw how crazy fast that was. The best thing about messy cards or messy backgrounds is they can be messy. If you're using this as a 12 by 12 layout, you can absolutely just take this same step set, ink it up with the Vintage Photo, and go around the edges, and it will be beautiful. I am going to take some double-sided tape so that I'm getting really good adhesion from this paper onto my card base. I'm going to get it nice and centered on my card base, and then we can, I think I fidget with the flowers. I think I fidgeted with them a lot. I did. But I think I end up putting 2 at the top and 1 at the bottom, I believe. So yeah, I'm just gonna kind of move them all around, decide how I want them. You can do this with regular distress inks. I love the chalky finish of oxides, so I basically don't use anything else in my craft room. I don't even have any regular distress inks. I only use the distress oxides because they're my favorite, and I love that kind of chalky opaqueness that they have to them. I think it's so pretty. So now I'm just going to go ahead and put these flowers down. And then off camera, I added a little sentiment. It took me a little bit to decide which sentiment I wanted to use. I am going to go ahead and trim off this edge, but then I'm going to take that extra offcut of that flower and put it in the bottom. And that's where we're going to call this one done. So beautiful, easy techniques, and these techniques will translate either to cards or to a scrapbook page. And there is that beautiful sentiment that I added. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday, and I will see you again back on my channel very soon. Bye.